my next fight is for a unification at 40, and then we got Jerron in his boots, 47.
Yeah.
And then the winner.
That's fire.
Then the winner in February against Haney Garcia.
A heated altercation at a boxing press conference isn't unusual, but what unfolded between Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez at their latest event carried a different kind of energy. The tension between them was unmistakable, despite the fact that they aren't even scheduled to fight each other next.
Were you in camp with Teofimo at all, Ryan? Because I saw you going back and forth, and you're both working with Eddie right now. Talk to us about that.
I have nothing against Teo. I think Teo was cool. He was kind of taking shots at all of us about, our accomplishments, and, I kind of got...
The back and forth between them quickly escalated, creating an atmosphere that had fans and media buzzing about a potential future showdown. Garcia wasted no time in making his presence felt, throwing verbal jabs at Lopez in front of a packed media audience. His words were sharp and direct, showing his willingness to engage in psychological warfare long before stepping into the ring. "We don't give a flip what you are," Garcia fired off. "I'm tired of hearing this nonsense. We're gonna run that 100%. His energy was unrelenting, clearly trying to get under Lopez's skin. Lopez, never one to back down from a verbal war, responded with an intense glare, matching Garcia's fire with his own trademark confidence. The hostility between them grew to the point where the two had to be physically separated before things could turn violent.
I wanted to go after Teofimo. That's why me and him trip more than everybody else. I just feel like that's who I really wanted to fight for, the next big fight.
This isn't the first time Garcia has set his sights on Lopez. The idea of a fight between them has been circulating for years, gaining momentum as both fighters continue making waves in the sport. In July 2022, after Garcia's brutal knockout victory over Javier Fortuna at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, he made it clear that if a fight with Gervonta Davis didn't happen, Teofimo Lopez was next on his list.
How's it feel?
Ryan.
Which two fights got your attention? You interested most? We got your Haney or Teo can get it if he wins?
I want Teo because I haven't fought Teo, and I feel like I wanted to do, for me, is like fight everybody. That's what I always wanted to do when I seen everybody hyping up, Tank, Devin, Teofimo. That was like the whole thing. So in my heart, I wanted to fight Teo because I feel like I handled Haney, regardless.
So of the four kings, that's still ongoing, man.
That's how I feel. I feel like that's what it is. But again,
that bout never materialized, but Garcia's words from 2 years ago now seem more relevant than ever. With both fighters competing at 140 pounds and both holding massive followings, their rivalry is only growing stronger. The clash between Garcia and Lopez has all the ingredients for a blockbuster event. It's not just about two highly skilled fighters.
How you doing? Good, bro. How you doing, bro?
Hey, we're ever gonna see you guys in the ring together? Against each other?
Hey, what up, Turkey? Oh yeah, Turkey was good. What's good?
Hey, Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez.
Hey man, we for the people, that's all it is.
Are you down for that fight?
Hey man, yeah, we both believe in God, so, at the end of it all, it'll just be
Make
two.
the best man win.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan, you'd be down to box Teofimo?
Why wouldn't I?
Who gets slept in that one?
It'll be a big fight.
He loves boxing, man. We grew up.
It's about personalities, history, and the natural rivalry between them. Lopez, a Brooklyn-born fighter of Honduran descent, represents the gritty, no-nonsense boxing style that New York is known for. Garcia, a California native, embodies the flash, confidence, and entertainment factor that comes with West Coast boxing. Both men have something to prove.
Ryan DM'd me and everything. Boy, desperate for some payday. Ryan just said that if I'm looking forward to it, man, we could make some good money and we could make the fight happen. At 1.4 that they did on pay-per-view buys was mainly from Ryan's side, not really from Tank. And that's all from the YouTubers and the young kids that don't know. It's just your casual fans. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be that guy that makes everybody else more money.
Garcia is coming off a controversial overturned win against Devin Haney due to a failed drug test, while Lopez is preparing to defend his WBO super lightweight title. Both fighters are loud, brash, and always ready to stir the pot, making their feud one of the most compelling in the sport today. Garcia is currently scheduled to face Rolando "Rolly" Romero in his next bout, but he made it clear that his hit list extends beyond just his next opponent. Even with a high-stakes rematch against Devin Haney lined up for later this year, his focus kept drifting back to Lopez. His energy during the press conference left no room for doubt. Teo, right there. I want that, Garcia said, making it crystal clear that Lopez is in his sights.
Hope to see in 2025 is Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez.
That's one of the top ones out there. That's one of the top ones, could be arguably the top one after, I believe, a high-end tune-up where he can get tested, but he'll win. But yeah, that'd be a good fight.
I love seeing like the fans going back and forth over that, like in the comments.
I would like to see the press conference itself. Sell tickets to the press conference.
I know.
Yeah, listen, Ryan Garcia in that weight division is the money. Is the old days of this is an.
His words weren't just for show, this was a statement of intent, a message to Lopez and the rest of the boxing world that he's serious about making this fight happen. Lopez, who has his own title defense against Arnold Barboza Jr. coming up, didn't respond immediately to Garcia's taunts, but his actions spoke louder than words. The press conference had already been electric, but tensions reached another level when Lopez escalated his own rivalry with Barboza by slapping him during their face-off. The already intense atmosphere turned chaotic, with emotions running high across multiple fighters on the card.
The takeover, Lopez, and the undefeated interim champ, Arnold Barboza Jr. It's all for the WBO Super Lightweight World Championship.
It was a moment that perfectly encapsulated Lopez's unpredictable nature, never afraid to stir up controversy, never backing down from a challenge. While Garcia's immediate focus remains on his rematch with Haney, his ongoing feud with Lopez is becoming impossible to ignore. The animosity between them has been building for years, and with both fighters at the same weight class and on similar career trajectories, their paths are destined to cross sooner rather than later. The way Garcia went out of his way to call out Lopez, even with so much already on his plate, showed just how badly he wants this fight. Lopez, known for embracing chaos and thriving in high-pressure situations, didn't shy away from the challenge. Beyond the trash talk and press conference antics, there's real tension and real stakes behind this rivalry. Garcia, still dealing with the fallout from his overturned win against Haney, knows that every move he makes is under a microscope. His initial victory was wiped from the record books after he tested positive for Ostarine, leading to a one-year suspension from the New York State Athletic Commission. That controversy hasn't stopped him from keeping his name at the center of boxing conversations, and if anything, it's made him more vocal and aggressive in his approach. Sharing the same card as Haney, who is set to take on Jose Ramirez, has only made things more intense.
Rolly Romero here, and I seem to remember years ago when you guys were prospects at lightweight. You might have been at junior lightweight at the time, as a matter of fact. There was a lot of talk about a sparring session, and there was John going back years ago between you two. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I think we sparred about 8 years ago. It was a little rough sparring, I guess, but he continued to use that sparring to, kind of boost up his career, credit to his point. But I don't have no bad blood to him. I'm here to, do my job and, set up that rematch, but I'm not overlooking him at all. I know that he's going to come to fight. It's a big opportunity on the main stage, so I got to be sharp and prepare.
During the press conference, the tension between Garcia and Haney flared up yet again. Their verbal exchanges were relentless, with Garcia taking every opportunity to throw shots at his longtime rival. "I'm really focused on just whooping Devin Haney again," Garcia said. "That's all I'm really worried about, not even redeeming myself, just that Ostarine nonsense, which you probably did set up." The accusation sent shockwaves through the room, and Haney was quick to fire back. "How did you test positive? You took your punishment because you knew you were guilty."
Ryan is a hell of a fighter. He's a good fighter, but if you embarrass me like that, my pride is gonna kick in. Like as a fighter, like I'm gonna wanna. We're gonna have to line it up again, and that's how I feel like with that situation. I feel like, yeah, what will waiting 4 years do for me? Like it's gonna look like, okay, I waited it out, and you're not the same fighter no more. But I want to beat you while you feeling good, and you just did that. Okay, I'm gonna beat you.
The back and forth between Garcia and Haney is far from settled, especially with the legal battle still looming. After Garcia's test result was revealed, Haney took him to court, suing him for battery, fraud, and breach of contract. The lawsuit threatened to drag on, but ESPN recently reported that both sides agreed to pause legal proceedings for 90 days to negotiate terms for a rematch. If there was any doubt about whether they would run it back, the press conference erased all uncertainty. The rematch is happening, and Garcia isn't letting anyone forget what happened the first time.
I think right now they're probably going to announce a lot of fights to be finalized. That's my opinion on that. However, I think that it's a great matchup. I think it's a good storyline for Rolly as well. And I think they're going to fight at 47.
Yeah. Rolly's a big dude. Obviously, he has that power. Ryan has that right hook.
Yep.
So, who do you got?
I got Ryan. I got Ryan Garcia.
Why?
Yeah, I just think that from that fight and since then, he hasn't been fighting for that long of a period.
The Times Square boxing card is shaping up to be one of the most chaotic and explosive events in recent history. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have reignited their war of words, intensifying their long-standing rivalry, while Teofimo Lopez has ensured that his own fight carries its share of bad blood. The tension is rising as Garcia continues to throw Lopez's name into the fire, adding another layer of drama to an already heated event.
Comes down to Bob offering you a Teo fight and Eddie offering you Ryan. Does it just come down to what's the bigger check?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to what makes sense. Those are two huge fights. Obviously, Teo is more legacy belts, whatever. But I also got the belts already at 135. Of course, I want to get the belts, but right now it's what makes the most sense for me.
With so many storylines colliding, there's no telling what will happen next. But one thing is certain, this event is about far more than just the fights that are scheduled. It's about setting the stage for something even bigger, and with emotions running this high, the boxing world is in for an unpredictable and dramatic ride.
Today, I don't believe in coincidences. Yo, Devin. Dev.
While Lopez and Garcia exchange jabs outside the ring, Lopez has made it clear that he believes Garcia's biggest challenge isn't him, it's Rolando "Rolly" Romero. As much as Lopez enjoys stirring the pot with Ryan, he seems convinced that Garcia might not even make it to his anticipated rematch with Haney if he underestimates the power Romero brings to the table. Having watched and studied both fighters closely, Lopez knows exactly what kind of danger Rolly presents and isn't shy about warning Garcia to take this fight seriously. Garcia has positioned Romero as a tune-up fight before his planned October showdown with Haney, but Lopez doesn't see this as just a warm-up. In his eyes, Garcia is stepping into real danger.
Like I said, I'll be ready for whatever happens. It's looking like I'm gonna fight Teofimo Lopez, so that's good. I've seen him today. It's a little strange, but other than that, he's ready to whip his ass.
Lopez has been paying close attention to how this matchup is developing and believes Garcia needs to fully understand what he's walking into on May 2 in New York. He acknowledges that while Romero may not possess the technical skills of an elite boxer, what he does have is knockout power, and in boxing, that can make all the difference. Garcia might be the favorite going into the fight, but this is no easy win. If he takes Romero lightly, he could be in for a rude awakening. Lopez warns that Garcia cannot afford to ignore the risks that come with fighting someone like Romero, emphasizing that one well-placed punch could alter everything.
The first time I just stuck to a game plan when you're facing a bigger dude, bigger puncher. Because at the time I was like 17, 18, much smaller than him. So I kind of just knew what to do and I was running. So decided to stand there and bang. He had some good moments, but nothing crazy. And then he started, using that to get his career going. But kudos to him. He used it well.
While many see Garcia as the clear favorite, Lopez knows better than to dismiss Romero. It's easy to look at his past performances and assume that Garcia will handle him without much difficulty. But boxing isn't that predictable. Lopez has seen too many fighters make the mistake of underestimating an opponent with raw knockout power, and it's often the last thing to go in a fighter. As long as Romero is standing, he remains dangerous. If Garcia enters the ring thinking this fight is simply a stepping stone toward Haney, he might find himself in serious trouble before he even gets there. Lopez also points out that while Romero hasn't been as active recently, with his last fight taking place in September 2024 against Manuel James, inactivity doesn't always equate to weakness. In some cases, it means a fighter is coming in fresh, refocused, and determined to make a statement.
He hasn't really made that many adjustments, to be honest. Still making a lot of the same mistakes, still kind of fighting the same. His chin actually looks like it's gotten a lot weaker.
Romero has been in tough spots before and has been counted out on multiple occasions, yet he remains a name that carries weight. Many thought he was on the verge of defeat when he faced Ismael Barroso, only for a controversial stoppage to save him. Against Gervonta Davis, he started strong but suffered a brutal knockout. Isaac Pitbull Cruz also exposed Romero's flaws, overwhelming him with relentless pressure and taking him out in 6 rounds. Those losses have led some to believe that Romero isn't a legitimate threat at the highest level, but Lopez isn't so sure. Lopez questions when Romero last fought and acknowledges the damage he took in his bout against Cruz. However, he also understands that power is often the last thing to fade in a fighter. A fighter like Romero might struggle against elite opponents, but that doesn't mean he can't pull off an upset if Garcia makes mistakes.
Broly's, to be honest. I mean, I feel like it's a fun fight. He's a, aggressive, crazy dude. Lead up will be crazy. Yeah, and I want that, he has a title, technically. But yeah, let's do it. I don't know if you have a real injury.
If Garcia enters the fight overconfident, assuming he can walk through Romero's shots without consequences, he may be in for a much tougher fight than expected. For Garcia, this fight isn't just about securing another win, it's about protecting his future plans. A loss to Romero wouldn't just be a minor setback, it could derail everything he's been working toward. The rematch with Haney has been carefully set up and is supposed to be one of the biggest fights of the year. However, if Garcia gets caught and loses to Romero, the entire dynamic of that rematch changes. It could still happen, but it would no longer carry the same momentum. Instead of entering as a confident contender looking to avenge his loss to Haney, Garcia would be stepping into that fight with the weight of fresh defeat on his shoulders. In boxing, perception is everything, and a loss to Romero could shift how Garcia is viewed by both fans and analysts alike.
I wouldn't mind watching him against Teofimo Lopez. I wouldn't mind watching him against, wow, there's so many fighters. Boots Ennis.
You want to see him against Boots?
Why not? Let's make the great fights. Virgil Ortiz. Wow, that'll be great. There's a lot of fighters out there.
They are.
Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Man, you can make so many fights.
Lopez doesn't necessarily believe that Garcia will lose, but he refuses to underestimate Romero the way others have. He sees the reality of the situation. Romero has clear flaws. His defense isn't great, his footwork is stiff, and his fight IHQ has been questioned more than once. However, none of that will matter if Garcia gets reckless and leaves himself open to one of Romero's signature looping right hands. That's what Lopez is warning against: one small mistake, and everything Garcia has been building toward could come crashing down. If Garcia stays disciplined, uses his speed, and fights smart, he should win this fight. But if he comes in thinking he can easily walk through Romero's power, he could be in for a long night. Lopez understands that boxing isn't just about raw skill, it's about timing, power, and mental focus. If Garcia isn't completely locked in on May 2, things could quickly take a turn for the worse.
You and T.O.?
I mean, don't you think that's a fire fight?
Because you need somebody who's going to be able to promote the fight with you.
And you need somebody that poses some type of a threat.
He's got the accolades. He's what, two-time lineal
140 champion. I feel like he would fight me at 145. See, I'm the catchweight king. I don't believe in weight class.
At the core of Lopez's message is a simple truth: respect the power. Romero may not be the most technically skilled opponent Garcia has ever faced, but he has the ability to completely ruin his plans with a single punch. In a sport where one mistake can change an entire career, Garcia can't afford to take any unnecessary risks. The Haney rematch is waiting, but before he can get there, he has to handle business against Romero. If he's not careful, that fight might not happen at all, or at least not in the way he envisioned. Ryan Garcia is no stranger to the spotlight, but this time, he's making headlines for all the right reasons. After years of distractions and controversies outside the ring, he's stepping back in with a new mindset and a point to prove. At a recent press conference, the word maturity was repeatedly used to describe him, and for good reason.
fight him? What's giving that look?
I don't know, man. You know, you just gotta wait. You gotta wait and see.
All right, before I let you go,
but after I do fight him, I'll be the first one to fight all three of the, you know, so-called, you know, four kings. I'm the only one that's fought all of them: Tank, Devin, and Teofimo Lopez.
I want to be great, Garcia said with a level of self-awareness that hasn't always been associated with him. I've always wanted to fight the best. I've had my struggles outside the ring, but that's just part of my journey. Now, I want to show everyone that you can overcome anything. I'm dedicated to this sport, and I want to be a true professional.
So, what next for you then, Teo? Obviously, you're in the
What's
stack
next for
division.
me is worldwide takeover. That's what it's next. I want to go to Italy. I want to take other places in different rings. I got a lot of fan base in Africa too. I want to go out there. So my whole thing is taking it global.
Obviously, a lot of big names.
Because nobody else is gonna help me in the back.
This time, his words aren't just talk. Garcia looks more focused than ever, leaving behind the distractions, impulsive social media moments, and drama that have followed him in the past. He's all in, grinding in the gym and proving that he's ready to stand among the best in the sport. But don't mistake his newfound focus for a loss of fire. Garcia is still as passionate and outspoken as ever. Just days before making those mature statements, he sent a heated message to Rolando "Rolly" Romero, making it clear that he's stepping into the ring with real intensity. "Rolly, I'm not underestimating you. I'm coming in with real anger, and I'm sorry it has to be you," Garcia wrote, also warning Romero that crossing the line would come with consequences.
My next fight is for a unification at 40, and then we got Jerron in his boots, 47. Yeah.
Ooh,
and then the winner.
That's fire.
Then the winner in February against Haney Garcia.
Ooh.
Some might see this as a contradiction, but it's actually a sign of growth. The old Garcia might have let emotions get in the way, turning press conferences into a spectacle. This version of Garcia is using his energy where it truly matters: his training, his strategy, and his performance in the ring. For the first time in a long time, he's not letting outside noise define him. He's locked in, determined, and ready to make a statement. If this is the Ryan Garcia we're getting from now on, the boxing world better pay attention. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.